Let's jump to this next story from the New York Sun and give you the breakdown. Virginia Democrats propose a raft of new taxes after taking state government trifecta. The story is this. It's been 2 days since the Democrats got in after their major sweeping election, and they are burning the state down. It is a full-bore communist revolution. Let me show you from Greg Price. Democrats now control the legislature and governor's office in Virginia. Here are just a few of the bills they've introduced. New 4.3% sales tax on Uber Eats, Amazon, and deliveries. New sales tax on admissions to a wide variety of businesses. Create 2 new higher tax brackets of 8 and 10% of people making over $600K. New 10% tax bracket for anyone making over $1 million. 3.8 investment tax on top of state income tax. Raise the hotel tax. New personal property tax on landscaping equipment. Ban gas-powered leaf blowers. Guarantee illegal aliens free education. Make it illegal to approach somebody in an abortion clinic. Extend the time of absentee ballots can be received after election day to 3 days. Allow people to cast their votes electronically through the internet. Expand ranked choice voting. Extend the deadline for ballot counting to 1 week after election day. Redact the addresses of political candidates from FOIAs. Add Virginia to the National Popular Vote Compact for presidential electors. Make it illegal to hand count ballots. $500 sales tax on firearm suppressors. Assault weapons in quotes and large capacity magazine ban in Virginia of all places. Don't try to me-state. 11% sales tax on all firearms and ammunition. Prohibit outdoor shooting of a firearm on land less than 5 acres. Lower the criminal penalties for robbery. Ban the arrest of illegal aliens in courthouses. Remove mandatory minimum sentences. Allow localities to install speed cameras. Replace Columbus Day with Indigenous Peoples Day for good measure. The 2 that matter. Make it illegal to hand count ballots. Add Virginia to the National Popular Vote Compact for presidential electors.
What's that one mean?
So that means there is the National Popular Vote Compact, where a series of states have an agreement with each other that should the popular vote swing one way, and it would their states have the power to affect the Electoral College, they will vote for whoever won the popular vote, not the state vote, not the Electoral College vote. Once you get a certain, they're fairly close. Once a certain number of states sign on, which I think might be like 35 or 36 or something like that, there will no longer be an electoral college. And this effectively means what you are seeing in Maryland, in Virginia, where they are wiping out Republican voices, this country will become pure Democrat and Republicans will become second-class citizens with no voice whatsoever in politics. Because with the National Popular Vote Compact, well, there's a lot of arguments about how it would play out. One is that you've got, 20 million, how many, or 10 million Republicans? How many people are in California? Is it 50, 60 million?
30.
60?
It's 36 million.
36 million, right? And 35% or 40% are Republican. And their voice is not represented because the way the state works. Some argue more Republicans will turn out to vote if it's a national popular vote.
39.4.
A Republican?
No, 39.4 million.
Generally, however, the idea is Democrats tend to get the popular vote. Republicans get the Electoral College vote. If they enact this, Republicans can never win again unless they become Democrats. The Republican Party then becomes gay communist. The Democrats become AI. That's the joke about the future based on what the Republican Party already does.
We're cooked.
Yeah. Do you guys hear that? Do you hear that noise? That's 4 years of Glenn Youngkin gone with the sign of a pen.
Yeah.
Unironically, because the Virginia Republicans, they had this genius idea where they're like, hey, maybe we can step into the left's framework and then beat them at their own game. It's like, let's run a based black woman, and she's going to carry a gun around, and she's going to talk about how the Democrats are the real racists. Boom, there you go. 4 years of Glenn Youngkin down the drain. A very effective governor, by the way. I mean, Glenn Youngkin, he's not this like super authentically right-wing governor like a lot of people want. He's not quite DeSantis flavor. Very effective, especially for a state like Virginia that is a light blue state. Great legacy, et cetera.
Not anymore.
Gone like that. Just because, again, the Republicans want to like have a one over on Democrats because they're just so desperate to get approval from like the gay zeitgeist.
Here's what's going to happen. Virginia's new bills are going to result in gun owners, many of them fleeing, wealthy individuals fleeing. It's going to cause massive problems for the state budget. California is expected to lose $1 trillion. $1 trillion because of their wealth tax proposal. Billionaires are like, I will leave. I will locate somewhere else. It's going to happen to Virginia as well. The conditions are going to cause more anger. And what do we see in places like Venezuela? When the Venezuelan retard government destroyed their economy with retard communist policies, instead of saying, guys, I think we're retarded, they said, it's not our fault. It's the imperialists who are destroying our country. Well, that's not true. But what's going to happen in Virginia and in California is they're going to say, we did everything right.
Yeah.
The reason why we have feces everywhere and no money, it's Trump's fault.
Yep.
And then they're going to get violent.
You know,
more than they already are.
When the extremely rich leave, they're going to pass those taxes on to the people that they say are the millionaires. But at least in California, the property tax that they're talking about, it's any property you own. I've got a friend that's like maybe he has $1 million, but probably not. He's definitely not a multimillionaire. But his house is in Lakewood, and it's a nice area, and it's worth $1 million. Now it's 2 stories, maybe. I think there's probably 4 or 5 rooms or whatever. It's a normal, what you would consider a normal house. If you looked at that, you take that house and you put it in South Carolina, it's probably $400,000, right? Like it's a nice house, but it's not some kind of extravagancy. He's going to be treated like a millionaire. They're going to tax him as if he's a millionaire. When the billionaires leave, they're going to go after the middle class. This is what happens in socialist countries all the time. That's why you end up with no middle class and a huge poor population, and only the extremely rich and wealthy people that are connected that can get around it. They're going to destroy California if that passes, and you're going to see that move happening in other states as well. I was talking to another friend. They're doing similar things in Washington State. They've got a socialist mayor in Seattle. Boeing is leaving or has largely left. Amazon will go if they pass it. There's another big company up. I think IBM's
Those
up there.
companies are relocating to Virginia. That's the interesting thing.
Well,
yeah.
they're going to
wanna be
look
close
at
to
that and they're going to
DC.
be like, well, maybe we're going to go somewhere else.
Well, this is what makes Virginia it's like a kind of an interesting exception, because most of the people there aren't there for like a favorable business environment. They're there for proximity to Washington, D.C. without having to get hammered on D.C. taxes. Now, again, this could be enough to maybe persuade them to move somewhere else, but they don't really have much of an option. One thing that's interesting is the national GOP does have a trick up their sleeve if they, again, were so brave to do it, is they could just revoke the secession of Arlington, which they ceded Arlington and Alexandria to the state of Virginia.
Make
again,
DC square again.
Yeah, DC has the ability, like they actually have the ability to make DC a square again. That lops off like 500,000 voters to DC. And again, it puts Virginia back in play. But as we've seen here, I wouldn't hold my breath on it.
Bro, the things I would do if I were president, or at least speaker, or majority leader in the Senate, I'd probably get assassinated.
Why isn't Trump doing
I'd
them
probably
though?
get assassinated.
Like, why isn't he doing anything?
I think the issue is that Trump is currently negotiating with NATO, and one man can only do so much. So it's funny, right? I can't remember what happened. We were at Freedomistan, and one of the guests was here, and they were like, "Oh, hey, where do you keep the toilet paper?" And I went, "I have no idea." And he was like, "Oh, it's your company, dude." And I was like, "You think I know where the toilet paper?" Bro, I have no idea what's going on half the time. I have 2 words for anybody who asks me a question about the functioning of this business. Anyone know what they are?
Ask Allison.
Ask Mark.
Indeed, that's right.
Ask Mark instead.
Ask Mark.
Yeah.
Ask Mark now. Okay, yeah. No, to be fair, Mark. I mean, I love Mark, but he is fairly new to the business. So
it's just
Right.
it's so sad.
But that is
like,
the plan. Ask Mark is the new phrase. Look, I complain on the internet and the functioning of how we do things or execution, but the minutiae I don't. So to the point of Trump, his DOJ goes to them and they say, "We've got a thing going on in Minnesota," and he's like, "Hold on, I'm on the phone with Macron. What were you saying?" Get a subpoena on him. What are you doing? And they go, "Okay." And then he's like, "Now back to the things that matter: Greenland, Saudi Arabia petro deals, the South China Sea." The foreign policy stuff is the true purview of the president. War, foreign affairs, and so he's not I would estimate Trump's getting a briefing from DHS and the DOJ on internal affairs, like domestic affairs, and he's looking at it and saying, "Okay, here, do this, do that." What is he focused on? What's he talking about? He's talking to world leaders about Greenland.
Yeah.
So if it were me, I'd imagine first, realistically, anybody here, anybody watching, you'd be in the same position as Trump.
Yeah.
However, I'm also a bit of a lunatic, and I'm, I think, much more willing to be crazier than Trump would be. And I think it's probably because it's like a youth factor thing. I think as much as people want to say Trump is crazy, he might push the button. Like, no, Trump is an older guy. He's seen a lot. He's more experienced. He is wise. He is a bit brash. Me, I'd go on TV and be like, "It's time to arrest all of these people. Someone do it."
Yeah, there was a YouGov poll that half of Zoomer Trump supporters just said ignore SCOTUS. So it's like clearly young people are just kind of fed up with the pomp and circumstance.
The optics of it are crazy though. Like I get it. He probably is doing a lot of important things behind the scenes that maybe we do not know or understand, or he's delegated these things to other people in his cabinet, right? But it just seems like when you look at it on the face of things, it seems like he's been too busy, like, renaming things, like, you know, Gulf of America, Department of War. It's like, who cares about these things? Who cares about renaming things?
I disagree.
Like,
I disagree. Perception is reality.
but I think he's bad at the optics. That's what I'm saying. Like the optics of it on the face is that he's not doing anything. Does he not care about the way that it looks? I mean, to kind of do a little side note, even, did you guys see the event that they threw at Mar-a-Lago over the weekend with the furries? They literally, it was like some humane society event that they were running where basically they were
Liberal slop.
Yeah, but they literally had people wearing essentially furry masks. And are we forgetting about the fact that literally 3 months ago, Tim Dillon said this on his podcast, Charlie Kirk was assassinated by the boyfriend of a furry. Apparently, that's the narrative, and yet now they're hosting these grand events. Are you pulling it up? It's crazy.
Oh yeah, they did have a furry party.
Look at it. It's actually insane. This is what I mean. Does he not even care about the optics of how it looks
what
to
was
everybody
this?
else? It was for like the Humane Society awarding like dogs for like the most.
I think because the Humane Society, and this is splitting hairs, and I think that I agree with you on the optics of it, but I think that if you're going to steel man what's going on, this wasn't about furries, because furries is a whole LGBT connected, generally LGBT connected weird fetish thing, whereas this was set up by the Humane Society or whatever, and it was about animals, not about actual some
it
kind
wasn't
of
furries.
deviancy.
It was just like it
They
is
look
goofy
like
cosplay.
furries.
They do.
They
They
look
do.
like furry. That's
Again, that's why I
but I
gave
gotta
you
stop
the-
you.
that's why I gave you
furries dress like cartoon animals. Those people were dressed like animals. There's a distinction.
Furish. They were
No.
furish.
Furries have like an identity of a cartoon animal. They dress like Bugs Bunny, whereas these were like dog costumes. It's goofy, but thanks for checking out this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to watch the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Subscribe to this channel, and we will see you all there.